a dinosaur story.
Love it.
I like when it's pronounced
Little bit.
better. You know what the issue is?
Oh no. We're back is the singing one.
Yeah.
I think for the Land of Time.
Oh, Land Before Time?
Land Before Time. I was thinking that. But We're Back is
Oh, it's top tier. It's
Top tier.
It's absolutely one of my favorites.
that and Rock-a-Doodle-Doo.
We talked about this.
Shit. I gotta go watch that.
If you guys needed some recommendations,
Yeah.
or just needed some nostalgia, we go. I mean, Land Before Time is like one of those key ingredient ones where no one forgets about them. So, But you have We're Back, a Dinosaur Story, one of my all-time favorites. Rock-a-Doodle-Doo, right on that same area.
Yep.
Page Master. We talked about this one too. I can't remember if it was on the pod or not, but we ain't finding anyone but Little Nemo.
Okay.
Kid flying on it's like early anime.
Yeah, I know
Gives
what you're talking
you
about.
feelings of like the Black Parade, My Chem.
Do you remember Fern Gully?
Absolutely, I remember the Fern Gully. Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest.
Yeah.
The full title. Yeah. I've never seen. We talked about this last week. Fun story. So fun because I said it is. But Max wasn't sleeping great, or he didn't sleep in on Saturday or Sunday, one of the days, doesn't matter. But I got him out of his bed, and took him in the front room so Rach could sleep, and pulled the cushions down onto the ground, and put a movie on, and we watched 101 Dalmatians because he loves dogs.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, let's watch more dog movies. We tried Homeward Bound, which is a goated movie, but too much talking. So me thinking, hey, this is about a dog, I put on Old Yeller.
What the fuck?
I guess that's
what a
the
jump.
reaction.
Why not Oliver and Company?
Oh, I know. There's so many. All dogs go to
All
heaven.
dogs go to heaven.
I know, but I just saw it and I was like, you know what? We're watching older movies. Let's do this. I only got about 15 minutes in, and then he ended up falling asleep, and Rach came out, saved me, because she was like, what are you watching? I was like, Old Yeller. She's like, why would you watch that? And instantly I was like, does the dog die? She's like, in the most gruesome way.
Yeah.
He gets rabies, and they put him down, like with a gun.
Yep.
So anyway,
hilarious stuff.
I'm glad Max wasn't torn up by that.
It's all right. He would have survived.
Yeah, he would have survived. With that said, though, welcome to the Margins Podcast, where we talk about books, the ones that leave a mark, start a conversation, or stay with you long after the last page. I'm one of your hosts, Stranton, alongside my other host,
Cristiano.
I guess my co-host. He's not my host.
Yeah.
At times he has been when we've done like a barbecue or something.
Yeah. True.
Explanation needed. What do we got going on today?
All right, guys. So today we're on a long road trip of the art. We're with PJ Holiday, broken man and lottery winner.
Yes, he is.
He's suddenly turned guardian. He's chasing love and redemption across America with kids, a cat, and a lot of grief.
Yeah.
That's a high. What do you call it? A high tier synopsis, really. There. Right there.
A little teaser.
Yeah, a little teaser.
Guys, it's The Road to Tender Hearts by Annie Hartnett. This is brought to you by the Bricked Up Book Club, because it is actually the book for the book club that I'm in. It's the book of the month.
Who picked the book of the month?
That would be Tim, actually.
Oh, okay, Tim.
Tim.
All right, Tim. Good choice,
Tim,
bro.
friend of the podcast.
Yeah.
He was on one of our live ones, tuning in and chatting it up with us. But yeah, it was his choice. I had not heard of the book, but since maybe social media has heard me talking about it, and it's been all through.
Now
my
it's
algorithm.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy about.
God loves Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
All in your shit.
Words that will never leave my mouth. Again, guys, Careless People, check that book out. Anyway, with that said, we will be getting into that. Like Cristiano said, we are doing a long road trip with the heart. So prep prep yourself.
Yeah. It's one of those books, guys. It's don't get me wrong, it's really heartfelt, but it's not one of those it's not sad per se. Lots of fun, lots of comedy. Every character is lovable in their own way. You'll read this book and be like, oh, I have a family member like this.
Yeah, that's perfect. I was gonna say it's just life.
Yeah.
Not the mundane, but not the mundane. That's not left out. It's just not. It's not a highly fantastical.
No, not at all. Not at all.
There's aspects that are like what, but not because it's like out of pocket. It's just like, oh, that's a twist. There are twists. It's a book, guys. There's always gonna be a twist. But yeah, before we do that, before we go in any further, how you doing?
Good. Could be better, as I'm sure everyone can answer that. There's always room for improvement. But overall, we're here. Excited that tomorrow is a new day.
Yeah. Another chance.
Another
shot.
chance. Yep. What about you?
You know what? I'll take on that same one. Another day tomorrow. I've been trying to do more apart from acting, apart from acting, dad life every day. I wanted to take you up on something you've challenged me on and others in the past, and that's doing a little bit more stuff with this.
Yeah.
A little bit more voiceover work. So on my page, on my TikTok, I started, I should say, sharing videos of me doing voiceover work. I've only shared one, and every day I'm like, I'm gonna do another.
Yeah.
But I picked apart the first one.
The first one's the hardest one.
Yeah.
It's to get started. It's just like working out.
Mm-hmm.
That first day, you gotta make the kinetic motion, and then let that kinetic motion carry you on. Don't be too critical.
It's the whole, you can't both, I've said this before on the pod, but you can't both create and observe at the same time.
Right.
You just have to
be in it. You have to be present. Yeah.
Be very present in the work, not in the criticizing or critiquing.
And I think one, at least I can't say this is true for all artists, but at least like some of the artists that I like, or you can't get so caught up in how other people are going to consume your art. Make it, put it out there, and it's okay to have a hope that they feel, that the different thoughts and feelings they might have, no problem. The good thing is that humans are very similar in our emotions and our spectrum and our experience. 100% someone's going to take it exactly how you want, and then there's going to be 100 other people that take it in little degrees differently. So you have to put it out, understand that it is good, it'll reach the people it needs to reach, and going with today's thought of like the algorithm, consistency is the best thing.
Yeah.
Right? So just keep at it, because it is really good. I've seen it. Naya had, it's like, oh, Stranton doing voiceover? Yeah. So it's,
I think what I'm going to have to do is kind of, to keep accountability, I wasn't planning on doing this, but I'm going to try to do an excerpt of every book we do on this, that we do.
Yeah, once a week.
At least from that. That's at least one of the posts. And I did look up quotes that I wanted to do from, which I'm going to backtrack to in retro, because there's some from my friends that I definitely want to read.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because that book was chock full of just great moments and experiences. The one that I thought about for this one, no spoilers, I'll talk about it specifically later. But PJ's kind of speech moment at the mall was the one that I was like, gotcha. I want to do that one.
There was a good one at the end too.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's something that I've been kind of challenging myself. So I promise to you guys, the listeners, that I will start posting. Maybe I'll tag the Margins Podcast socials on there.
Yeah.
So you guys can see what I'm talking about. With that said, I could use some libation to get this moving. What are we doing between the wines?
All right, guys. So today for Between the Wines, as you guys know, in this segment, we try to pick a wine that gets the vibe, the essence of the book of the week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So today we're drinking. I'm gonna probably pronounce this wrong.
Let me see. Again. El Esteco.
El Esteco.
Esteco.
And this, if you guys can't see, we have a cactus with some mountains. Basically, it looks like a desert.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I chose this is because Arizona is a center point,
Mm-hmm.
or it's a main plot point in the book, and I thought this caught that essence. Tender Hearts is actually, well, we'll leave that for you.
What?
We'll leave that for later.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, read the book, and you'll understand why we chose El Esteco.
It has to do with, it's in the desert, guys.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
Exactly.
But also read the book.
Read the book.
So this book has a lot to do with road trips. PJ, we'll get more into, we're about to jump right into the a bit of the synopsis.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let me see where we go. No, jump that and go back. Yeah. Alrighty. Micro-Synopsis. PJ Holiday is 63, haunted by the death of his daughter and the collapse of his marriage. A lottery winner hasn't fixed anything about him. When his brother's kids, Luna and Ollie, I did a typo. I was wondering while I was reading that, I was like, there's a little bit of a hippie-cuppy. It's his brother's daughter's kids.
Yes, his brother's grandkids.
Yeah.
So his great nephew and niece.
Yeah. Okay. So when Luna and Ollie fall into his care after a tragedy, PJ decides to turn a solo journey into a makeshift family road trip. He's aiming for renewal, love, forgiveness, and a chance to prove that sometimes it's not too late to become the person you were too broken to be. Ooh, too broken to be. This again is from Annie Hartnett. Annie Hartnett balances the absurdity and sorrow like a tightrope. Her previous books, Unlikely Animals and Rabbit Cake, show she loves weird characters and magical realism. But in this novel, she leans into grief in an adult, honest way, while still letting humor be the glue that holds everything together. She said she wrote this as a funny story about some of the life's worst tragedies. Which I felt.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely understand that from the get-go, from as soon as you read the book. It's interesting. This book gave me a lot to think about, a lot to talk about. I was talking to Naya about it a lot while I was reading it, because I love like the major themes that she deals with, like death, family, unsaid things. What do you call it? Underachieving, or like the feeling of underachieving, or feeling like you should have done more, and reasonings why you didn't make it there, and every character has different levels of these things. Appreciation, right? Appreciating the people around you, what they do for you. Also, kind of looking inward and see like your effect on those other people. It's a very good book, very similar to like My Friends, where it really makes you focus on your interpersonal relationships and like your own growth and stuff like that.
Perception of everything you just said.
Yeah.
How will I measure my life? How am I hitting these marks?
Yep.
So yeah, I thought she did so beautifully. Yeah, just another ensemble cast
for sure
here. Where like in My Friends again, we talked about this. We don't want to do. I mean, it's another reason we don't do just sci-fi or just fantasy. Is we like to have a mixed bag, different have the emotions ebb and flow.
Right.
This one got us. Because we did You guys listened to Project Hail Mary last week, so that at least had somewhat of a palate cleanser. But then we got right back into the emotions, right back into that emotional hoodie. But again, not in the way of this is a sad book. It was just life.
Therapeutic. This and My Friends are like kind of therapeutic.
And they aren't torture. You're not torturing your soul.
Yeah.
As a lot of those like sad books, like, oh, you're gonna read this and you're gonna be broken.
It's not the vibe where I'm pretty sure a lot of people went through this where when you were younger, some of you guys might still do it, where you get sad and you start listening to like your favorite sad songs, make you feel more sad, and you just fucking stew in the sadness. It's not one of those reads. It doesn't make you stew.
I work out to sad music. Like, everyone thinks I'm listening to like whatever you want to think. It's Adele, guys. It's Adele. It's something sad that is just like bringing up something. It's Bleeding in Love by Leona. What is it? Leona Lewis.
Leona Lewis.
Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's the best that you never had. Some Beyonce.
Yeah.
It's all that. It's all there. But anyway, yeah, it's not one of those. It's not something that you're just gonna get lost. It's the connection that Annie did so well. So yes, all I could say is for those of you that have not read it, check it out.
Yeah, you gotta go check it out.
Just to have that human connection, have that little bit of that you need to realize.
On Reddit,
we're all going through it.
There is a like I don't know if it's like a weekly question in one of the subreddits that I follow, but it was like, oh, suggest some books. He was like, I'm sorry if whoever this is. I doubt you'll watch this anyway. But basically, the person had wrote that it was like, I'm feeling lonely. I have this, and that going on in my life. Can you guys suggest me a couple books that would be kind of therapeutic for me? And I was like one of the first people to comment on that subreddit. And this is before I got to this book. But I definitely told them to read My Friends and The Prophet.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Two great ones.
Yeah. My Friends, because the full scope of the characters that you get and kind of seeing yourself within them and their growth and how they're dealing with these intense emotions and feelings. And then The Prophet, I even said this in a comment, like it's that you don't have to read The Prophet from beginning to end. You could just take it for what you're feeling with that day. Like, so friendship, love, loss, whatever the case may be, you can just read that like daily bread and
go through the chapter titles and know what you're going to get yourself into. Or if you're being spontaneous and it's not because you were like what you're looking for, do a flip and a open, and I'm sure whatever you land on will resonate.
Yeah,
one
absolutely.
way or another.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like we said before, this has a lot to do with a road trip. You know what? You've always done this. I'm going to try to do shoot from the hip synopsis without trying to, go too much into the weeds, which I do a lot. I know. So, listeners that have not read the book, we are not doing a deep dive yet. Again, advisory. We do that after 5 hard questions. Right now, I'm going to give you a brief synopsis, and then doing it so that we can also talk about road trip and a little segment I wanted to do. But we have our man, PJ, who is 63. He is in I'll just paint it as it is, a failed marriage that went through a lot of tragedy, starting with the loss of his oldest daughter. She was at prom or going to prom, or no, it was after prom, and they were partying in like this open field, which was also a cranberry bog, and she ends up drowning.
Yep.
That's right at the top of the book. It's not a
spoiler. Yes. Yeah.
But that's just one of the things. He then, turns to alcohol, can't keep himself together, has a younger daughter. Obviously, there's resentment there. And his wife is just this angel who takes care of him in the utmost way, as long as she could. And then when she couldn't, she ends up divorcing him, meeting another man who's also kind, who then befriends PJ as well, and they keep PJ in their lives.
Yeah.
And during that time, their relationship grows. They decide that they're going to be going on a trip, which they leave PJ at home. And during that time, while he's home alone, he finds out through a series of events he is now going to be the caretaker of his grandniece and grandnephew. That's a whole story on its own about how they got there.
Yeah.
But they end up going on this road trip with this really interesting, for a very interesting reason. But the road trip is just a great time of staying at different hotels, storytelling. We find out through the road trip a little bit more about PJ, about the kids. PJ's younger daughter, who's now older, in her 20s, comes along for the ride, Sophie, and then the lovable cat that just comes out of nowhere, Pancakes, this orange tabby, who plays as we said at the top, the Grim Reaper, basically
the Grim Reaper.
This cat comes around you, you're not making it through the night. It's just what happens. He can hang out with you during the day or whatever. Like, he hangs out with PJ and the group all day, which the whole time I'm always like, something on edge,
like, who's about to die in this group? Yeah.
But every time he like went off and found someone new, that person's always like, eh. Yeah. So that's from the top of the book again. Explained.
It's literally one of the first things you learn about in the book.
Yeah.
Before you meet PJ, for anyone, you meet Pancakes.
Yeah. So anyway, with that said, a little bit of a funsy question. Road trip must-haves. 3 objects that you must bring if you're going on a healing road trip. Kind of like PJ's. So, like, what are your go-tos?
It's gotta have snacks.
Yeah.
Gotta have a playlist.
What snacks are we talking?
Like something good that you can, because usually I'm driving, so something I eat with one hand. One hand snacks. Poly seeds, some good sunflower seeds. I'm a barbecue kind of guy, but I could take the original too.
What about dill pickle?
No, thank you.
Oh, really?
Not in sunflower seeds.
Oh, I love those.
Dill pickle, ranch.
I know ranch is way too much for me.
I can't do that. Yeah. But barbecue, original, I'll fuck with it. A dill pickle.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I was definitely raised by my mom, who, from a young age, we were the ones that bought the big pickles in a bag.
Yep. Fire.
All day.
Fire.
All day.
What about you? What kind of snacks you thinking?
My go-to for a long time were the Gardettos. Love the Gardettos. We talked about this off camera last week. Mexican candy, because I grew up in San Diego. I always chose it for the road trip and always regretted it during and after the road trip because my stomach would be in knots.
Yes.
Probably because of the amount. So if I'm smart about it and I only put like X amount, we good. Yeah.
But you can't just eat like 1 or 2 of them.
No.
You can't. It's impossible.
So, yeah. But yeah, I go probably Gardettos. Something to drink, but not too much of it. So I usually go with like a 32 ounce of like Coke Zero or something like that.
This guy's so responsible. Yeah. I will do a Snapple Apple. Snapple Apple when I was younger, Arizona.
Ooh.
Especially, man, Arizona had me in a fucking chokehold for years.
I could do Arnold Palmer's all day with Arizona. Arnold Palmer.
Damn. For a long period of my life, Arizona and some hot fries from like high school until early 20s.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Playlist has to be pretty. Nowadays with like streaming services, it's not hard to do this, but I like a good range because especially if it's a longer drive.
Yeah, it depends on how long that drive
is. The same
is.
thing the whole time. That's the beauty of having audiobooks. It's the beauty of having podcasts.
Yeah.
A couple of those would be good too.
Yep.
So.
Third thing is a good person to share that drive with.
Oh yeah.
You could probably do it by yourself too.
You could.
But
done that.
Yeah.
It's best to have it with someone. Unless there's a good book, then you guys.
Right.
Let me see if there was anything else I wanted to talk about those road trips. No. I think we're done with it. Guys, let's just get into the 5 hard questions.
Let's do it.
And that's our bread and butter.
Yeah.
So now that we are in 5 hard questions, let's go with number 1. PJ's journey starts because of a chance obituary and a dream of reconnecting. What's one small signal in your life, a text, a memory, a chance conversation, that changed your course, even if you didn't see it at the time?
It was like 2 separate conversations, probably 3, but for this, I'll say it was 2 with the same person. I was talking to Naya. So I first met Naya. I was working like 3 jobs and going to school, and one of the jobs we shared, and she had just came back home. She went to Lincoln University in Pennsylvania, so she just came back for like the winter break or something, and we were working, cleaning out the theater and shit because it was like a movie theater. And we were just talking. I think it was one of our first conversations, and she was telling me why she came back, what she was studying, etc. I thought it was super cool. I was just like, oh yeah, like I'm about to get out of here too. I got plans. I'm going to London. I'm going to do something. I'm going to go somewhere. I didn't know I was going to London at that point. I just know I wanted to go somewhere. But at that time, if I'm being honest, I had never thought about it that much. I just knew I wanted to go somewhere. I'd never been anywhere, and I was for the first time in my life, I was on this path that felt like I had like a trajectory that was I can do anything. So that conversation, and then skip a year and a half later, almost 2 years later, I completed that first step to where I got into all these universities and I have all these choices to go. And like that same summer, I'm talking to Naya, and I had this huge, overwhelming like imposter syndrome. I don't know what it was, but I remember telling us like, I just feel fucking lost. I don't know what I'm about to do. I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if this is the wrong choice because I'm leaving everything and everyone. I'm not rich. I basically like I had a feeling that it was gonna be very difficult, and it was. It was the hardest thing I ever did. But I remember talking to her about it, and she was super supportive and basically letting me know like, oh, you can definitely do it. You conquered this, that, and the other. You definitely have the ability to handle this. So yeah, as you guys know, that definitely changed my life. But yeah, like those 2 conversations were pivotal in like me choosing that path, especially because I had so many other options to choose. All right, cool. So I'll react this. So PJ's journey starts because of a chance obituary and a dream of reconnecting. What's one small signal in your life? It could be a text, a memory, a chance conversation that changed your course, even if you didn't see it at the time.
I apologize if I've shared this. I don't think I've shared this specific moment before, but I know that I've said in the past that for the longest time people would tell me like, "Oh, it was such an odd compliment, but like, have you looked into acting before? Because you emote or you're very visual with your emotions and not like visceral or like I'm over, But I've always been told I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I convey emotion really well. I don't know what they were saying, but that's what it was leaning towards.
It's a good way to put it, though.
Yeah, I kept getting those omens, we'll say. I never followed them. I kept thinking like, oh, that's cool.
So it kept pushing you that way.
Yeah, it kept pushing me, but I was just taking it as the compliment and then moving on and keeping that like dream shiny and untouchable, because until it's attempted, there's still an opportunity for it.
Yeah.
If you don't try, you don't lose. It's still there. It's still a possibility. And then not until, I think I'd have to check the dates. I think we were a year into our marriage. Rach knew that I had those like a desire to go like, or past desires of being an actor, but then it like came up one night and she's like, why don't you do a class? Why don't you take a course? And I've never been challenged to do it. And it wasn't like she was like, do it, or like, nothing like that. But
yeah,
that the fact that like she allowed or like gave space for me to attempt that, especially like early in a marriage, whether it's like finances, figuring things out, you know, to have that grace and have that support that early on for something that was big. Like monumental for you.
Yeah,
absolutely. That was something that, you know, in that moment I was like, oh, I'm going to take a class. We've now been living in LA for the last 6 years. You know, I took that first class almost 10 years ago, you know? So yeah, that's something that, like, you know, those little comments were something that, like, I didn't think I thought about, but didn't give very much room for growth until the right person came along and said, do it.
Yeah.
You know? Question number 2.
PJ? Yeah, I'll take it. PJ wins the lottery, but still feels broken. What's one thing you thought would fix everything in your own life, but turned out to be one small piece of the puzzle, or just be one small piece of the puzzle?
I'd love to say money. Like, money came around and like fixed, like, oh, I guess it didn't fix everything, but it has not come yet.
You know, maybe future.
Yeah, maybe future.
Future Stranton.
Man, I would love to have that not be a, you know, I guess it didn't fix things, guys.
Yeah.
So,
I wish that for you too.
Yeah, I wish that for you. I wish that for all of you, except for a couple of you. Yeah, I think the first thing that comes to mind, I guess, still in the same topic. No, you know what? There's something that I saw the other day, and that's a better answer. Getting older.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
A friend of mine reposted this video of, like, I can't remember, it was put beautifully, but something to the effect of, like, why I'm so mad that I couldn't wait to grow up. You know, it's that whole thing of, like, once I'm older, I'll be able to do this. It's not even just, like, to get away with things or to be able to have the power or the control or whatever it is. But so much in life, we're thinking about, like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? You know, and not so present, but specifically when you're a kid.
Yeah. You know, this is probably another conversation. I hope I'm not digressing a lot, but I've always thought that had to do with the environment that was built around us. I don't know this for sure because I don't talk to that many people who are that old, but I wonder, like, 30s, 40s, even before then, like, when the rat race was still a rat race, but not as pervasive as it is now, was there that sentiment? You know, like, when life was slower, was there still that sentiment of, like, I can't wait to grow up? Like, I get why we have that feeling, because the keys are being jangled in front of you every single day of, like, when you get older, you get to be making these kind of decisions. And you can't do this. To be honest, it's really the negative things that really drive most of your thoughts, most humans. So it's really like, I can't do this because I'm a kid. Yeah. Right? Or I don't know enough about this. When I get older, I will. And, like, you just feel like there's a level of knowledge and control that comes with being older. And that is exacerbated by the current environment that we have.
I agree. The only thing that I would say to not challenge it, but challenge it, is that I feel like it's been such a marker, like, historically in stories about the kids always wanting to, like, can't wait till they grow up. So maybe not, like, to the I get what you're saying, because I don't think it's to the degree that we feel it nowadays. But I feel like the kids always want to grow up. It's always the kids can't wait. It's always, you know, the little brother who can't wait to be like his older brother or his dad, or once I get that age, this will happen.
Here's another way, because you're right. Here's another way to put it. As a kid, you have so much future ahead of you that you can't wait to get there, because you don't know what that might become. As an adult, you feel the pressure of not having enough future to become all the things that you thought you would become as a kid.
Yeah. I love that. I love
right.
that. Yeah, absolutely.
That's our middle ground.
I definitely feel that. Too much time. If I could tell myself anything, if I could tell myself, sometimes it's like the whole 5-year thing. If I could tell myself 2 days ago, just stop worrying,
Yeah.
Be present, because you're losing out on the time that you do have. That's the bummer thing. There's a whole thing about like wishing. I thought about this the other day, how there's so many times I've looked back and been like, man, if I just made these changes at that time in my life, I'd have been so better off. Why can't I have that mindset of like yesterday, like looking at yesterday and making the change today,
right?
Opposed to waiting X amount of time for it to be substantial enough for me to do those changes. So I'm happy to have that realization, because then I have the opportunity, I have the potential to then make the change. But
yeah. Good answer. Great answer.
What about you?
My answer's not as good, but it's kind of specific. For me, I guess the one thing that I thought would fix everything in my life, it turned out to just be one small piece of the puzzle. Getting my diploma, like my bachelor's degree, I should say. I said my diploma. Getting my bachelor's degree. There was a lot more to it wasn't just me thinking like, I get my bachelor's degree, I'm gonna get rich off of this one job. It was also like there was so much pressure because I almost quit so many times, and a lot of stuff was going on, like in my family and my friend group, financially. Everything was kind of falling apart at one point, and I somehow was able to piece things back together, and then push through and finish strong. But I was so broken by that time. I remember walking across the stage and getting my diploma. As I'm walking across the stage, hundreds of people around, and all I could think of was like, oh, well, that was so anticlimactic. That was all I was thinking, and it really fucked up my day, because like the whole day I'm thinking, like, even after went to get something to eat and stuff, I'm just thinking like, I have to think to myself, was it really worth, was the juice worth the squeeze?
Yeah.
And at that point, I was so in the middle of my emotions and stuff, so I probably would have said no. But absolutely, getting my bachelor's degree. Yeah. Question number 3.
Question number 3.
You want to take it, or should I read it?
I got it. PJ drives cross country with kids who call him on his flaws constantly.
100%.
When's the last time someone, a kid, a friend, a partner, roasted you or checked you in a way you actually needed?
I'm getting roasted 100% of the time. Yeah. It's just a part of my friend and family culture. Everyone's always giving you shit about everything.
That's good friends. That's good family.
Yeah. The last time, I don't know. A time that sticks out. This is, man, I don't know if this was right after Neri was born or a little bit before Neri was born. It might have been a little bit before, I think. So I had just got back in the country like a year. I was in the country for about a year at that time. So my mind was everywhere. I was very unsatisfied with life. I feel like I fucked things up. I made a couple of wrong choices, and I was like, what the fuck? Things weren't going right with Naya. So I called Dante, who's probably the worst person to call on some things, but he's great to call in like really tough times, okay? Like if you're in tough times, call Dante. If you're just like kind of going through something, I don't know, hit or miss, because he might just say some shit that's just completely off cuff, because he doesn't have a filter. But basically, he was, it wasn't like shut the fuck up and stop complaining. It was more like, bro, you've been thinking about this the wrong way. I can't believe you didn't think about this before. But actually, like, you have to change the way that you're viewing this situation in order to feel it's not everyone else, it's you. Like, you have to change the way you're viewing this, because you can't expect the world to think how you think. You can't expect the world to react how you want to react. And so it really changed the way that I interacted with everyone, like people at work, relationships. So Naya, right? Friends, family. So rather than dealing with people with the expectation of what they will do, it really made me more patient and understanding of everyone around me, because I'm like, okay, I can just wait for their reaction, and then, you know, then I'll react. Then I have the thoughts. I think that it wasn't just me doing this. I think that everyone does this at a high level, to where like so much of your life is trying to be happy,
Yeah.
or like have things happen how you want them to happen, that you have this deep want of how things should go, and
An
expectation
Yeah.
of how they should go, and it can really warp your thoughts and your mood and your mentality and things. So for sure, 3 a.m. call with Dante.
Love that. Love that. Again, friend of the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Our favorite contrarian, would you say?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Dante's the man. Yeah, I've definitely had throughout life, as we do, friends, family, say those things in the right times, call you on your BS, or just bring to light things that you overlooked. I will say, I can think of a million. The most recent and most impactful one, that actually has nothing to do with words. It wasn't a text. It wasn't verbal. It was just the presence. His presence has been Max, my kiddo. I think I've shared this with you before, but because I'm an actor, because networking is such a big thing, both in my before acting and entertainment, but also in my then business corp life. I always, when I found out there was a person of interest, of importance in my realm, I sometimes seize up. Still happens.
Yeah.
But that kid, since he's been here, has brought everyone down a notch in the best way. Like, as far as in my brain of what's important to me. Obviously, there's still high stakes. When it comes to networking, when it comes to speaking to people.
Mm-hmm.
Not that everything's transactional, but sometimes it is. But yeah, just being with that kid daily and knowing really what I want to be doing with my time. Yeah. Really changes how your perspective is. And I'm not saying that that's going to be for everyone, but for me in my life, he's definitely made things go to bigger picture. Right. And simplified things for me in that sense. So yeah.
Kids do it to you.
Kids have done it, did it again. Yeah, you want to take the next one?
Yeah, let's do it. So 4, right? We're on 4?
Yep.
All right.
Oh, actually, yeah. It's a 2-parter.
Okay.
So first part is going to be for Cristiano. Second one, Cristiano is more than welcome to share it. But I had to break this one into 2 because this is our fatherhood question.
Yeah.
And you'll see why, but the question is just kind of, I'll read it. Kids in tender hearts carry their grief differently than adults. As a dad, what's been the hardest part of helping your child process big stuff? Whether that means breaking it down into words they understand, for the older kiddos, or showing it through how you act or carry it yourself. It's not I think the way I read it, it almost sounded like I was saying which one is, but it's saying
in general.
In general.
Yeah. The hardest part is you don't know what you don't know. Mm-hmm. Meaning that everyone's different. So how things affect everyone is different across the board. Even children, compared to how you might take it as a child.
We're all in the same room. Everyone experienced it differently.
Yeah, absolutely. And for example, dealing with death or big decisions and independence versus doing what the group does. All these things are topics that we discussed beforehand and then introduced our kid, and we're still fuck, I don't know if we even handled that right. We hope we handled that right. So I think the hardest part as a parent or as a dad is just not knowing what that will become, because everything plants a seed.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't really know the fruit of that until much later on in life, where it's much more difficult to curve or course correct, or see like, damn, I did that best I could there, and it turned out great. I did the best I could there, and it didn't turn out so great, right? So yeah, I think that's the hardest part.
Sounding like PJ right now.
Yeah,
that's a huge thing.
It's facts,
I was doing the best I could during that time, which is neither. I wouldn't say neither. I think it is what it is. It's not an excuse, nor is it like a
cop out. Yeah.
Because the facts are facts.
Well, one thing I was gonna say earlier, like when you brought up the thing about Max and stuff, is everything is everything. I told you about this earlier. My little thing. Everything is everything, and like the older you get, the more tragedy, the more love, the more you see yourself in everything, the more that statement makes sense, and it starts to come home all the time. Like we try to separate, anger and joy, or sadness and happiness, but they're the same thing. It's just like we're not on that spectrum.
Just all the same spectrum.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I had to break up that question because when I was originally trying to think it out, I came up with that. I was like, well, I can't really. I can answer it, but little man has not spoken. He's definitely has these like micro expressions that I can read, and he's very much, like I said in the last couple episodes, he's in the room. He's so much fun to play with, but we aren't to the point where I'm breaking down like what happened today or like why. I still talk. I do the whole like narrating what we're doing, and I am one to like if I get like short tempered about something, I almost always will follow up with like calling myself out with like, but why would you understand that? You're 1 year old. I'm how old am I? And I like, so I'm quick. I hope that I'm always quick to check myself.
Yeah.
But because of that, I was like, well, I can't really answer that part. So the second part, which I put as a sub question, with a 1 year old who can't understand the world yet, what's been the hardest part of showing comfort or stability in a way that they feel, even if they can't fully grasp it? And that's something that I've had, like again, being sleep deprived, guys, it's a bitch. Like it is,
it's a torture. It's a form of torture.
Yeah, I definitely like. I'm not out of it yet. I've coped with it, but then he'll throw those curveballs. Of last night, he decided he wanted to be up for 2 hours with Rach, and then she passed him to me. She then fell asleep, and I think she was under the impression that he fell asleep shortly after. He did not. He stayed up longer.
Yeah.
Not longer than she was up with him, but longer. In the middle of the night, and then we still had to get up, and we had this whole day ahead of us. Still got X, Y, and Z done. But in those moments, your ability to be retrospective of yourself, like self-evaluate and everything, it becomes shorter and shorter.
Yeah, it's tough.
And you really have to be able to check yourself.
You become the sum of what a human is, which is emotions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in those moments, I've found that it's not that I have to distance myself, but it's taking the beat of really thinking about how old this kid is, how much he knows or doesn't know, what my job is, and like how to best navigate, at least until I get the energy, the sleep, the whatever I need to be there for him, like to be able to fill his cup. So that could mean that, like, he watches Miss Rachel a little bit longer while dad, like, at least not falls asleep or anything, but like rests or is able to like get coffee in me or something.
Yeah.
And so just like creating that environment has been my go-to with trying to, give this kid nutrition and nurture his upbringing the best I could or can. So yeah.
Love it.
Final question. Question number 5. The book asks whether redemption is ever too late. If time didn't matter, if there was no deadlines or forgiveness or second chances, what would you finally take the time to do?
I guess at different parts of your life, your answer is different.
Absolutely.
For me, right now, I would say I would take more time to just relax. I wouldn't work so hard. Take more time to relax for myself and for my family. Spend more time with them. Spend more time with myself. Yeah, like the amount of thought I put into just making shit happen and work, and like that level of energy and thought. If I could invest that, have 3 months. That's a long time, guys. So maybe I'll say 2 months, 1 month, even 1 month. Just invest that in like resting, relaxing, being present for my family, being present for myself, and not having to spread it everywhere else all the time. That'd be powerful. Yeah. And I pray every day that I'm not like the person who wakes up in 30 years, 40 years, and like, fuck, I just, yeah, I accomplished this, but I had to sacrifice all of this time. Because I understand how important time is, like now.
Yeah.
So
I think you got all those weekend activities, so I think you're always going to be good. You're always there.
Right. The infinite book of weekend activities. Weekend activities are crazy.
Yeah.
What about you, though?
No deadlines. No.
What would you finally take the time to do?
Yeah, I think it's similar, but I think hyper specific. It would be travel. It would be traveling with Rach and with Max. Like long before, that was one of the things that like we waited on, like to have Max, was because we are like, well, we want to travel, we want to do some things, and we did. We've traveled a bit, but not to the degree that we want to.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the first thing that comes to mind is to be able to travel and experience, other cultures and their perspectives and life, outside of the bubble that is ours.
Sub question. So in the first part of the question, it says, if time didn't matter, if there was no deadlines. My sub question is, you have a deadline. Think of it like not quite dead yet.
Yeah.
You know that you have a deadline. Would your answer change?
I don't think so. I think it would, if anything, it would intensify.
More of the same thing.
More of like, okay, we really need to get up and go.
Yeah.
We need to go to New Zealand. We need to go, travel Europe. We need to do X, Y, and Z. Now.
Okay. That means it's pretty serious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something to focus on.
Great sub question. And with that said, 5 hard questions are done.
Yeah. Hope you guys like it. If you guys do, comment, engage.
Yeah.
Go to our Reddit, our subreddit, 5 hard questions. Just type that in and we'll pop up and let us know. I know I'm behind, guys. I'm only up to like episode 13. So 5 hard questions from episode 14 and up are coming.
Question. Should have done this off camera, but I'm going to do it on camera anyway. When we did the edit, did we add the phone number and everything?
I did. Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes. Look at this. Look at this. Finally, I'm talking shit, but usually we don't. Usually we forget to add in the extra thing, but this time, yes.
Should we bring that up now again?
Absolutely.
Let's get some hot takes, guys.
Our new segment.
Yeah, our new segment. Hot takes. We need to come up with a nice rhymey, pun-ridden hot takes thing.
Yeah. Right now it's read, rant, repeat.
Oh yeah, read, rant. We did come up with it. Christiana did. Read, rant, repeat. That is exactly what it is. Yeah. Your boy forgot. So read, rant, repeat. You guys know the hotline number. We've added it before. Go ahead and check in the caption. I won't say that we're going to post it on the screen every time.
We'll post it there. No problem.
We'll post it there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead and give us your hot takes on books, on book talk, on everything literary.
Yeah. If you DNF the book, I really want to know.
Oh, yeah, he's all about that.
Guy.
I want to know if it's a book that I did F and you DNF'd it. Oh, I want to know why you couldn't F it.
Yeah. So let us know. And we will listen to your voicemails, and we will replay them and respond and engage on the following episode or one of the following episodes.
Yeah.
All right. Now we are into the deep dive discussion part where we're going to break down more of the book.
Yeah. This book. Found family versus biological family and how obligations shift when love demands it. Found family versus biological family. We've kind of talked. We've dabbled with this before.
Yeah.
But we both are very much into our found families.
Yeah, for sure. You know? Yeah. I don't know if it's person to person. I guess it is, but found family, there's no difference.
Yeah.
You know, in some cases, found family becomes bigger or more important than biological. I've also known people to where biological family is everything. And there's, I'm not going to say protections, but there's no way they would let found family become equal to biological, right? So I've seen both sides of the spectrum. I think it's really just based on kind of individual preference and what you've gone through. Some people don't find great people, as hard as that is to come to terms with. Not everyone's you. Not everyone's has these great people around them. You know, it's a blessing. So if you do have great people around you, whether it's biological or found family, you're lucky.
Yeah, absolutely. I, we'll say hit the lotto like PJ. Biological family, love. We am very close with all of them. And they'll be the first to tell you, I have a lot of found family. I was definitely the kid that, we've said this before, spent summers away from home. And no, I'm not saying on holiday or studying abroad. I'm talking about a couple blocks over, staying at my buddy Tim's house or John's house or, X, Y, and Z for weeks on end. Why'd their parents let a kid stay there like that long?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It was an era. It was an era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about that. I stayed at one of my buddy's house when my parents stayed in New Zealand for, I think it was like 2 weeks. And I remember them being the first ones to be like, I think the dad said to the mom, and I was just in earshot, like, did they send him with any money, or anything? Which, valid.
Yeah.
100% valid.
Yeah.
Now that I think back, they didn't, just to be clear.
Yeah, that's the timing. That's how it was.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's in that case, I very much it was something that I thought of immediately when I was reading this book was the difference between the two, or the indifference between the two, I guess, in our case.
The importance of the two. Another one is humor as survival. So Hartnett uses absurdity to soften grief without erasing it. Grief and loss is a super big thing in this book. One of my favorite anime, shout out to Cowboy Bebop, deals with loss very similarly, where it's like you don't really understand, Like I've met a lot of people who are into anime, and before me, I don't know a lot of people who describe Cowboy Bebop as an anime about loss. Yeah. But I will always describe it that way because it is. It's the same thing in this book. They deal with it with humor. They take it on the chin, as they say. I think that it humanizes it and it makes it fun and edible, right? So, yeah, sure. So I'll take some. So the next one is redemption does not mean erasure. For example, PJ, his past, or even his daughter Sophie or Luna. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. You, whoever's listening, like, redemption does not mean erasure. It's growth, hopefully.
But it's not always seen like that.
Yeah.
Hence why it's being brought up. But I think a lot of people hold out on forgiveness, on progression, on taking that step forward because they feel like if they allow that, then their pain, the person that maybe no longer is around, whatever the fallout is then seen as unimportant or no longer of value, which should not be the case, to be clear. That should be both parties, all parties should definitely be, it should be clear to all that we're moving forward, but we're not forgetting,
I agree.
Yeah. Just bringing up Sophie, that's what I think her specifically, that was something that I think she holds on, however you want to say it or see it. That's a big
We'll get into Sophie. We'll get into her. I had something to say about that, but I think
we'll save it for
we're
on the last one. So children, and memory. How loss shapes young hearts versus how it shapes those who've lost grown children.
It's pretty specific.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Yeah.
That's a tough question. I'm not question, but that's a tough discussion because parents are not supposed to outlive their children.
No. Destiny.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
How loss shapes young hearts. I think it's important. I think how you deal with loss, how you talk about loss, how you teach about loss is important. It's one of the reasons why I like anime, like Cowboy Bebop, or just most anime are pretty tragic. I think it's important because you have to know how to react to things in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's better that you watch this 100 times over to happen to someone else than for it to happen to you 100 times over and not know how to deal with it. But I do think that loss is very important in the discipline and who you become.
Yes.
Addition by subtraction.
Mm-hmm. You can, lose yourself in the mountain.
Yeah.
And let it absorb all of the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And become this blah person.
It's a
Takura?
Who?
Sword of Kaigen.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. His dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Takura.
Yeah.
Or you can live with it.
It's a Takeru.
Takeru is definitely what it is. Gah.
Close though.
No, not that close.
I start thinking about the characters. I'm like,
Yeah. Well, good for you. I'm glad you remember it.
No, I was thinking about the actual Japanese characters.
Oh yeah.
Like how you would write it
in
kanji, and I'm like, that doesn't remember
great.
Right.
You remembered it even more.
You would learn Japanese pretty quick. Hiragana is wildly easy to learn. That syllabary is easy. Katakana is a little bit harder. You would get that fine. Kanji is where you would have difficulty.
We'll see. Maybe I'll take it up.
Yeah, you should.
I should, so I don't have to read subtitles.
There you go.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So yeah, in terms of the main themes of the book, for sure, family, obligations, humor, survival, grief, redemption, children, loss, understanding, comprehension, memory. These are the things that I do think that Annie really wanted people to grasp on and understand as she was writing. It's such a well-written book.
Yeah.
It's a very well-written book.
I wonder how much of, I guess I never really thought about it. I guess specifically because Annie's Annie, I want to learn more about her, but how much of PJ is in Annie, because it's such she nailed older guy
or
humor.
Sophie
or Sophie. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Because it was again an ensemble cast that was ages. I can't remember how old Ollie is, but
Ollie's like
young. Oh, they're both in 4th grade.
Yeah, they're both in 4th grade. So, 10 and 11.
10 and 11, I think, were the ages. So 10 and 11 are the youngest. Sophie's in her 20s. And then PJ is 63. But yet everyone was voiced, I felt like, perfectly.
It was amazing. It was great. Like every single character, even like the smaller characters that they met randomly, you know. So the owner of the fancy hotel, who I loved, I wanted more of. I wanted him to come back and find her. You know what I mean? Okay. Can we get into spoilers?
Yeah, let's get into spoilers.
Cause I'm about to just go through shit.
Yeah, guys. Again, last chance for y'all. Those that have not read the book, that are gonna sign off here, please do read the book. This was my first and will not be my last Annie Hartnett book.
Nope.
My boy here has already started
another
book of hers.
One. Yeah.
So this will not be the last.
We got to message her though, because not to get off your question, we should ask her how much of her stuff they put into each character.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I love that. I love that. We're gonna put that in the universe and hopefully it responds in kind.
Yeah.
Sure. But with that, if you guys do choose to leave at this point, leave.
Yeah, because we're now in the
don't want you
spoiler zone.
Yeah, sorry, I cut you off on that. The spoiler zone. The spoiler zone. Yeah, so we're here. Last chance. You're out? Okay, cool. They were all dead the whole time. No, that's not what the case is.
That would have been crazy.
That would have been crazy. But there were crazy things about this. I'll try to do them in order. Or we'll try to do them in order.
I won't. He will.
Yeah, let's just go with the spoilers we want to talk about. Luna was right. I had a feeling the whole time that was going to be the case.
Because she's so
Mark
convicted.
was her dad.
Yeah.
Because the story, that was a really, really cool way. Mother walks in. Oh, bro. No, let's bring it back.
The mom is...
Okay, so reading about the mom initially. So, spoiler, mom murder-suicide. Mother of of Ollie and Luna.
And she poisoned the shit out of Ollie.
She was poisoning the father, which I had a feeling about while it was being said. And then as soon as it said that Ollie grabbed his dad's coffee and poured it in. It's the whole, don't talk about a gun unless you're going to use it. And I was like, why are you saying that he grabbed his dad's coffee instead of just a cup of coffee, you know?
Right.
So I figured that was going to be the case. The fact that in that chapter, I think at the top, I felt so much, and I still did feel empathy towards the mom, about what she was going through, being cheated on by the husband.
He was violent.
You find out later in the book that broke Ollie's arm. That household, all of it terrible. Actually, I said earlier that it was his niece. It was her dad. Yeah, that's true. I was making sure that wasn't Frank's dad, but we would have known that anyway. But in that chapter, the fact that I had so much empathy at the beginning, and then by the time that her demise happens, I was just like,
okay,
good.
Right. Glad we got that out the way.
I was like, good. I'm glad. I am.
Yeah, because not all broken people need a redemption story. Not all broken people get a redemption story. And not everyone's the best of a person, I hate to say it because I always want to believe that, I want to believe in the best of people. But the fact of the matter is, you can catch anybody in a bad time.
Yeah. And
we caught her in a bad part of her life. So for example, if you got PJ when he was on his drinking binges and 3 DUIs back to back and fucking up his marriage, right? You would have had a different perspective on him. Yeah. Because he's not a great father at that time because he's always drunk. He's so remorseful about his daughter dying. Not a great person. So same thing with her. You caught her in the storm, right? So she found her husband is cheating on her. She wants the love that he's giving to someone else. He's already a shitty husband, so she's been dealing with that for years already. She has a crazy ass dad living with her who's not a great person either. So I had empathy for her as well. Really, really had empathy for the kids because I kind of got the gist that, you know.
But you lose it. For me, I
You lose
lost
all
it.
empathy,
I lost it as soon as you find out that. So Grandpa was not only just an all-around asshole, but he also
Fucking
was
pedo.
a freaking pedo and was essaying Luna, putting her in those situations.
Yeah.
Mom finds out. She does like beat him with a shoe.
But her only real response is, "Don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone.
Don't tell your dad because he's gonna kill him.
He's gonna kill him.
Don't tell your brother because he won't understand. Don't. This is just how men are."
Mm-hmm.
The way she handled that, obviously wrong.
Yeah.
Which Luna, I think that Luna understood that because the grandpa kills himself the next day.
Yeah.
So that's what probably helped her understand how wrong that situation really was.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Yeah.
So that was pretty crazy. So mom poisons husband. Not only is he poisoned and he's feeling sick,
he gets fucking ran over. He gets fucking ran over.
Yeah, he falls over, bent over, like foaming at the mouth in a handicapped spot, and old lady comes up and runs him over.
Yeah.
And says not only did she run him over, but that he's under her tire, like when she goes to check. Yeah. So weight of the car still on there. He ain't there. He gone.
Yeah, he's gone. But he deserved it. He wasn't a great guy. He was a piece of shit.
No. Did not feel bad for them at all. Either of them.
You know who I felt bad for? I'm jumping the gun here. Kind of, we're gonna talk about him.
Who?
I felt bad for PJ. I think that like I've met a lot of broken people. I met a lot of people who've dealt with like serious shit, and I always have empathy for them. You know, I felt really bad for PJ because I think he got a bad rap as a father, as a husband. As a society, I think that we're more culpable to allow some people to deal with their shit than others. And for him, the understanding only went so far. I don't know if that makes sense, but like telling someone to get over the death of someone, it's always the wrong thing to say.
Yeah.
You know, you can never say like, okay, I know you're dealing with this, but just get over it. No. Because everyone's lives end every day, and you don't understand how much someone might have meant to someone. And him losing his first daughter, Kate, was the end of his world.
Yeah.
That's why he said it's the worst thing ever. He repeatedly says it was the worst day of my life. It was the worst thing that ever happened to me.
It became his internal clock for everything. He knew when the school year ended. He knew when to basically when to plan to be looking at the newspaper or being around in town or whatever, because that set the mark.
Yeah.
It became his
he didn't start having heart attacks until after that.
Yeah.
Like his 3 heart attacks he had were obviously the drinking, the lifestyle that he ended up in, but the stress of losing Kate 100%.
Yeah.
Were a part of that. And it's not like he loved his daughter Sophie less. You guys got to think of the timeline. He had 17, 18 years to become close and grow close with Kate. Mm-hmm. Kate was also very understanding of like how he ticked, if that makes sense. I think Kate was closer to his temperament and Sophie's closer to her mom's temperament, Ivy. And so that really did help the functioning relationship that he had with her. So when he lost her, he went to this pit because not even Ivy understands him, like how Kate, at least how it felt, like how Kate had understood him, etc. It's really interesting, the characters. Like I really did enjoy all the characters, but PJ, he was my favorite, honestly, because I felt so bad for him, and I felt for him because I was like, I've never seen someone just try their best so much, you know, and he was genuinely a great person, and that's what everyone loves about him, was that he's the best kind of person you can meet, super giving, very understanding, patient, not quick to anger. But if you hear his description, he's not that great of a dad. He's an alcoholic. Like how the people around him describe him isn't that great.
I wonder how much of that is a result of everything that's happened.
But that doesn't define you though. Like, you know, like I don't think Sophie had the grounds to. She does because it's her dad. But
in the same vein.
In the same vein, it's her dad. But at the same time, it's like in real life, I'm practicing what I preach. You know, for me, like I similar parents, not so great, but never in my whole life did I say like, "Oh, I'm having a shit time." It's because of my parents. Mm-hmm. Like it not only does it take accountability out of you and make you slower to grow and become disciplined and get to wherever level you want to be at, but it villainizes people who are going through things that you yourself may go through and want that same grace.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Far after where you should have already had that understanding, you know, like Sophie was old enough to where she could have had more grace for her father. Mm-hmm. At least to me. I think he deserved it.
When it happened? Or you're saying at the point of the book?
At this point. Yeah, at this point. Like reading the book.
I do get that. Yeah. At this point, yes. Yeah, I don't know. Because I feel like that same grace that we would be giving PJ, it feels like then we would be giving an expiration date to Sophie, or only saying that it could go only so far. Because I feel part of her grieving process, part of her sulking, is placing the blame on her dad.
I'll go further and say that if she had the ability to forgive her dad, she would have had the ability to forgive herself and have gotten over her sister's death.
Absolutely.
Like,
completely agree.
The depth of depression that she deals with still at that point in time when reading the book is literally correlating with how she feels about her dad. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think that she would have been better off just being a little bit more mature about it, finding a way to not just forgive her dad, but grow with her dad. Mm-hmm. And it would have helped her too. It would have healed her too.
In that same, if we flip it and we put it on PJ, mm-hmm. if he would have been able to forgive himself, if he would have been able to do that, then alcohol probably wouldn't have been what it was. Mm-hmm. His relationship with Ivy wouldn't have ended the way it did.
Yeah.
So
but I don't think that would have. I don't know if that would have fixed his relationship with Sophie. He wouldn't have been an alcoholic, so actually inherently, yes, his relationship with Sophie would have been better. But I do think that Sophie automatically drew a line between her and her parents once her sister died.
Yeah.
Because of like the whole parents don't understand. Yeah. Kate was introducing her to like, she multiple times Kate, and she's like, you're a woman now, right? Like, so she shouldn't just look up to Kate. Kate is like her teacher. Kate is her protector. Kate is her guide. Yeah. So losing Kate affected her in a way that she felt like no one else could understand. It's not that they couldn't understand. I don't know if she ever allowed them to understand. Mm-hmm. You know, her mom's way of grieving Kate was really distancing herself, right? Mm-hmm. Her dad's way is becoming closer.
Yeah.
Right? He wanted to feel as close to Kate as possible. Mm-hmm. And so that juxtaposition is what really pushed Ivy and PJ apart. I actually don't think it was the drinking or the DUIs in action, because action has to happen.
Those were just obstacles or added collateral damage.
Yeah, there were reasons to act on.
Yeah.
But what really pushed them away was their opposite points of views and interaction with the death of their daughter. That really pushed them away because they couldn't go on. They both couldn't get over the death, and to keep having to deal with it how each of them deals with it so differently, it affected them in that way. And I can totally see how, like, I have to divorce him, not because I don't love him. I definitely love him. He was a great dad. She says it multiple times. Mm-hmm. Don't be mad at your dad. He's a great dad. He's loving. He's caring, etc. She tried to tell Sophie a bunch of times. They said it in the book. But I think that what really pushed her away was that they dealt with the death and such, and she couldn't keep living that over and over. Yeah. And it gave her the distance she needed by divorcing him. Because he would never get over it. No. That's why he started to drink. That's why he became an alcoholic, falling asleep near the bogs, buying the bench, to dedicate it to his daughter. It's it gave him a reason to kind of give up, because he wanted to feel as close as possible, keeping everything the same, So I think that's like a higher level thing. But when I was reading it, that's really what I got out of it.
There's like no right way
No,
amongst the three. Like you can't be like,
well, there's no wrong way.
no, that's a better way to say
there's no
it. Yes,
wrong way.
absolutely. I do like that. Yeah. There's no wrong way to go about it. Everyone definitely had their own way. All had different outcomes, different consequences.
Yeah.
Because each one did, both good and bad consequences. But yeah, like I said, this book is so much of just you're tapping into the like life force of what everyone goes through.
Yeah.
But it's sprinkled with humor and real stakes.
Oh, I know we're kind of pushing up against the time. And
no, I wasn't wrapping up. I was just saying.
One thing I really liked, I loved the cat pancakes. I like good writing, okay? And so when you take like writing courses, I was telling you about like writing techniques and plot devices. I love the way, I don't know if she went and studied writing, but it felt like she's studying literature and writing. Because the way she used pancakes and certain themes and to help the plot progress, amazing, seamless. The comedy, amazing. Everything was great. It was a good book. This is one of my top books of 2025 again.
Bro, the twist that Michelle
was his fucking sister. It's his sister.
I didn't realize the weight of him not knowing his dad until the end, which I don't think is a flaw of the book, but I was just like, oh. And then when he's like, I was days away from meeting my dad.
Yeah.
But
his dad knew who he was.
Yeah, and he knew who he was. Like they knew, like it wasn't.
They met each other.
Yeah. PJ would have said a great story about him and everything. He just didn't know in the context that he was talking about his dad.
He did say that he was a nice guy, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then he learned that he was very much like his dad. Like his temperament comes from his dad. It's interesting.
Other question, kind of the totem thing. Well, I guess we should ask too. Is the totem still spinning, or did it fall over?
It's still spinning.
It's still spinning? You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You think it fell over?
I want it to fall over, and I don't know if I can discern between wanting and if it did.
Yeah.
I don't.
I think it's still
probably
spinning.
still going.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you think? What do you think about the whole PJ's mom?
The women in this book are some of the most interesting characters, because what they deal with and then how they deal with it, right? There's a lot of two-timing women in the book.
But was she there?
PJ's mom, so how he described her, PJ's mom, she was great. Her flaw was in what she tried to hide from PJ, for trying to protect.
At the funeral, was she there?
Oh, no.
You think it was? But how did they get the lollipops? That was a whole thing.
No, she wasn't there because his mom had third-degree burns all over her body. Second and third-degree burns.
Things for me. You're right. That's totally correct.
Yeah. But
in my head, I was like, oh, maybe she survived and no one ever... I forgot the whole fact that she actually did survive the fire. Yeah. She didn't die in the fire.
No.
Guys, when you read a book, absorb it all, and then you don't look like this. In my head, I was like, oh, well, maybe she survived.
No, I didn't think that. What I thought in that moment, I was like, maybe she had a sister.
Did they all take gummies? Was that...
You know what I mean? Yeah. The only time that I thought there was like some hallucinogenic shit, where I'm like, is this really happening? Was after he got hit by the car. I was like, it'd be interesting to know if he just died. He actually died.
Oh yeah.
And everyone kind of just didn't know. But
how frustrating as someone we've kind of talked about this about like, when we both didn't come from like wealth or anything, but hearing how he was spending that money was driving me up the wall. I know he kept reasoning, saying like, I felt like I only have so many years left, so
yeah,
I'm planning on this. I wasn't planning on having the kids, but I knew when he said the whole, like, just having that mindset of when he was like, hey, is there an ATM around? I knew there was going to be a receipt, or there was going to be a balance, or whatever. I knew he was going to see it and then be like, oh. But I didn't know it was going to be
$20,000
from the $1.5 million that he loaned.
So the reason why I thought it was going to be a low amount was because they kept saying that he would just help people randomly around the whole community.
And then when you find, because they weren't right up front about how much he won, and then it wasn't too far into the book, but when he says $1.5 million, I was like, oh, that's not that much.
Yeah. After taxes, after you giving it away to fucking random people who are having issues in your community, you buying rounds and rounds, being an alcoholic for years, right? So, because I think it was like about 8 or 9 years, he was an alcoholic. Because they say that his wife divorced him 8 years ago, right? Something like that. So I want to say he had like 8 or 9 years being an alcoholic, which is a pretty good amount of time. It's probably more than that if his wife divorced him, right? So it was probably, say, a decade plus. So I'm not saying he didn't win the lotto at that time, but he was already an alcoholic. He went through the money pretty quickly, and him helping people. So him losing the money. Oh yeah, because
he did win, and they were still married when he won. Right. That's right, and then they divorced.
Right. And that's because he was saying like it couldn't keep her. Like she didn't really care. She got with a judge. So I had like a love-hate relationship with Fred.
Me too. I was, when I heard the Minnesota thing, my mind, unfortunately, I usually jump. Well, actually, not unfortunately. I was pleasantly surprised. Unfortunately surprised too because of the outcome. But I usually guess what's going on. I did not guess that. I didn't think of remission or it coming back, the cancer. So when I heard that, I was like, maybe Fred is a jerk. But then all those instances where he wasn't, like when he wasn't responding to the calls or when he told the cop that and then text back saying, I can't deal with this right now. I was just like, what a prick. He's on a cruise or he's on whatever he's on. And then come to find out, oh no, he's at like a treatment center with Ivy trying to make sure that she, the cancer goes away.
Yep.
At which point he could have already been back in Pond Lake.
Yeah.
With the poor results and everything. So yeah. By the end of the book, I did like Fred. I liked him at the beginning and then I liked him at the end. There was just the in between where I was like, skeptical.
Yeah. Also, I think that Ollie was a genius.
Yeah.
I don't know. They said Luna was a genius, but I think Ollie was a genius, and he viewed her as the genius because that was his older sister.
And I think there was a lot of him, because he was so perceptive. I think he probably allowed,
because she made like simple mistakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he kept writing like, Luna was surprised, or Luna would be like, "How did you spell that? Yeah. How did you know this?
How do you know that word?" And she didn't like him to know things that she didn't know, so he kind of hid that he.
Because he's such a good brother.
Yeah, I think he was the genius.
Yeah, I did. I loved the pairing. I loved that they were,
And I love how Luna dealt with her trauma because it's very real. The way she lashed out, punched that girl at the school recital, the way that she dealt with her brother, how it's kind of vindictive sometimes, which is very real to having siblings.
Yeah.
Her random outbursts if she feels like someone's talking down to her, not listening to her. She dealt with like some serious real life shit. I love the conversation that they had when PJ was sleeping handcuffed. And I think it's the same conversation when Sophie realized, like, fuck, I'm trying to tell these kids this tragic shit I went through, and their tragic shit is trumping my tragic shit. Like,
she got checked real quick because they said it, and she's like, oh.
But I wanted her to realize that her life wasn't as bad as she's making it. But that realization didn't come through the book, But I thought that would happen by her proximity to the kids. Like, she realized, like, fuck, my life is really not that bad. My dad's actually really great. Like all this other shit. And I have a second dad who's great. Like, but for her, life is still happening. So that realization didn't really happen like that. Like, life is still happening to her.
When I was reading that was something that crossed my mind where I said, oh, she had the realization, and Annie almost wrote it that way, where I was appreciative that she did, because it's something that I have crossed paths with before, where while you're speaking to, like, when you're having those types of conversations, those late nights or those heart to hearts or whatever you want to call it, there's times that you meet the person where they're at, and, you know, by comforting them, you say, this is something I've experienced too in this way. But then there's also times where you just need to be there to receive and comfort.
Yeah.
And it's not a fine line where you should be too worried about it every time. But that was a moment where, when she was so self-aware about it, where there have been times definitely in my life where I'm like, oh, they don't need a story right now. They don't need me to say, oh, this is what's going on in me. It's not a one-up or I'll meet you there. It's just hey, I need to release.
Yeah.
Will you be there for
me?
You
know who was great? PJ. He was the best. He had the highest EQ in the book. There was many times in the book where someone just needed him to just be a sounding board, not react, or they needed him to be on their team. You know, so whether it's Luna and her not talking, and his reaction to, like, hey man, like, I don't know exactly what my brother did to you, but he was a piece of shit.
Pick that up.
So I understand that something happened to you.
Yeah.
You know, like,
just the look.
Yeah.
He looked at her, saw the way she reacted, and clocked it, and was like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, I get it. And so he was like, yeah, I get it. And, like, that connection between them, I loved it. I liked how he was there for Ollie too, because Ollie needed something different than his sister.
Yeah.
You know? The many attempts that he made with Sophie, you know, and it wasn't like, damn, I'm keep trying, this is annoying. It was more like, I'm going to keep trying. How can I get through to show her that, like, not only am I sorry for my past, but I really am trying to be better.
It wasn't the same attempt. I think the cliche thing would have been, especially because he had money. I mean, his go-to was like, why won't you take money? Why won't you let me support you? But it wasn't him throughout the book saying, I bought you this. Hey, I'm going to buy you this. I'm going to buy you this. It was never that, which would get annoying really quick. He just kept trying to, like, approach the way of how to support her. And I like that he used different colors each time.
Well, the only consistent thing that he tried to do with her was try to contact her.
Yeah.
Right? He was always calling her. He actually says in the book, like, if I can't call Ivy, I can't call Fred. Only person I have to call is Sophie. And she doesn't really want to talk to me. Yeah. Right? But I'm going to call her anyway. Like, you know, I enjoyed PJ. I said this before, I love characters that are flawed, but I like characters that are flawed how he's flawed, where it's, for me, it's very understandable, like, to see that you dealt with the worst that you can ever think could happen to you, and it affects you in such a way that you turn to alcohol. And it doesn't make you a bad person. It just makes you human. I think it's very human to be, present with your feelings. You become robotic when you try to, like, stuff them into a box and just keep pushing through. And, like, to be present with, like, how you're actually feeling makes you very human. I think that PJ did that better than any character.
I think most of the time, any other author, a lot of authors, anyone who's getting into writing would say they would have painted the rest of his story as him being resentful and dark and, you know, untrustworthy, pessimistic. But like you're saying, he, if anything, brightened with it. Was the one that you'd want in your corner, that was doing, you know, saying things, and why he had the charisma that he did with both ladies and like,
you know how hard it is to be a light for other people when your lights are off. You know what I mean?
What are you drawing from? Yeah. How do you know, you can only give what you have. So he's definitely he's a unicorn in that case. Yeah. Definitely favorite character. Probably second would be Ollie.
Yeah, Ollie was.
Yeah, Ollie was very lovable from the beginning.
He tried it. He wasn't gonna kill the cat, but he was like, "How the fuck can I get Luna to understand? We got something good right now."
I think that, and the fact that he unlocked and was like, beer.
Yeah. He's like, I know you're gonna fuck this up.
It was like simple, but yet it worked.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
I really.
Yeah, Ollie was great. Yeah. But wrapping up, I do think this is one of the best books that we've read all year.
Yeah.
I love books like this where I feel like I can talk about them forever. Mm-hmm. I can totally do another discussion like this.
Absolutely.
We're absolutely going to follow up with Annie on this, and I want to pick her brain. Yeah. About a lot of shit. About
It'd be really cool to pick her brain about this. I mean, other books too. As you're reading another one, I'm gonna read more.
Yeah.
But it'd be cool to have a part 2 on this book with her and engage and just to be able to ask the questions we want to ask.
Yeah.
So I think that's it.
I think that's it.
I think that's it, guys. Again, we have been talking about The Road to Tender Hearts by Annie Hartnett. Check it out at your local bookstores. Go local, If not, then go to Barnes & Noble. Or
find an independent bookstore.
Yeah.
Support them.
Yeah.
Or you can check Barnes & Nobles, but yeah.
Independent always first. Yeah, check it out. A couple of the promises that we said throughout this episode. Check out Read, Rant, Repeat. Call that number. Give us your guys' hot takes.
Follow, subscribe,
like. You can follow us at The Margins Podcast on
Instagram,
all of our Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. As we said, the questions are on Reddit, on our subreddit, 5 Hard Questions. I will be choosing a voiceover this week for this book.
Hold them to it, guys.
Hold me to it.
Every week.
I will tag Margins Podcast in it. Maybe I'll share it to our page if I like it enough. We'll see.
You should.
But with that said, it's been another week at the Margins Podcast. Anything else you'd like to say?
Thank you. All right, guys. So we will see you next week.
Peace.